Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's session. Now, this session is all about improving your written work through editing and proofreading. So, editing and proofreading are the final stages of your writing, but they are essential for ensuring that your message comes across clearly, professionally, and persuasively. So, think of them as the polish that really makes your writing shine. So we have quite a lot to cover today, so let's move on, shall we? So let's consider the concept of editing and proofreading. So there are three main reasons why this process matters. And the first of all is credibility. Mistakes make your writing look careless, and they also undermine your professionalism. So your readers may doubt your knowledge if they spot basic errors in your writing. Second of all, clarity. Now, editing helps ensure that your ideas are communicated in a straightforward and understandable way. If readers can't follow your argument, then your work loses its impact. Now, last of all, let's consider engagement. So, when writing is full of mistakes, readers very quickly disengage, can't be bothered to read on. If you can't be bothered to check your writing, then the reader can't be bothered to actually read it. So remember, clean, polished writing invites the reader to continue and to take your ideas seriously. So there are some practical techniques that you can use to improve your writing. Now, the first of all is grammar check tools. Now, there are some out there on the market, and even in the word processing programs that you may use, they may have them. Now, they can catch obvious mistakes, but remember, they don't replace human judgment. So just be careful with that. There may be something that doesn't appear in the grammar check that you should check for yourself. The other kind of similar program to this is spell check. Again, this is useful. However, it can miss correctly spelled but misused words. So it may be that you have spelled a word correctly, but it's not the exact word that you need. So consider there and there. There as in over there, and there as in their opinions. They are spelled differently. So spell check will not find those mistakes. Another thing you can consider is reading aloud. Now, reading aloud allows you to hear any kind of awkward phrasing or sentences that are too long. If you find that you are reading it and you're getting breathless because the sentence is too long, then hello, the sentence is too long and you need to break it up. Last of all, you should consider looking at your writing with fresh eyes. Now, this is the idea of asking someone else to look at your work. Now, this is invaluable because they will spot things that you might have missed after reading your draft many times. So it might be that you're too much inside your writing and you need somebody from the outside to take a look at it and see if there are any things that you could improve. Now, grammar mistakes are among the most common issues when it comes to editing and proofreading. So the first thing to consider is subject-verb agreement. So remember, if it is a third person, as in he, she, or it, then the verb should have an S at the end of it. However, if it is not, if it is singular, then there is no S at the end. Okay. So it should be she believes, but I believe, or they believe, etc. So just remember that the way that you've made your verb matches the subject who is doing that verb. Okay, now the next thing is pronoun agreement. So pronouns should clearly match the nouns that they are referring to. Ambiguous pronouns can confuse the reader. So if you are talking about it or they, it needs to be very clear what it is or what they are. Okay, another thing to consider is tense consistency. So try not to switch between past, present, future, continuous, perfect, simple. unless there is a clear reason. If you are talking about the past, use the past. If you're talking about the present, use the present. If you're talking about the future, use the future. Okay, try not to switch between all of those because it can be confusing and quite difficult to catch on to your idea. So remember then that strong reading is both clear and concise. So make sure that you use the active voice where possible, because it can be confusing if we use the passive voice too much. If you say that something was done, something was carried out, something was, it is difficult to understand who did it. All right. So if you can use the active voice where possible, it makes your sentences more direct and powerful. There is a place for using the passive voice, especially when you're talking about methods, methodologies, etc. So don't completely disregard the passive voice, but use the active voice if you can. Next, consider eliminating redundancy by removing any extra words or phrases that don't add anything to the sentence, that don't add any meaning. Okay, it is a lot easier to understand if there are only the necessary words and phrases in the sentence. Next of all, consider using strong verbs instead of weak ones. So when you're writing, instead of writing make an improvement, just say improve. Okay. So remember then that consistency is key. So the voice should remain steady throughout. Don't suddenly change from formal to informal. Okay. Choose a voice and stick with it all the way through your writing. So it should be formal and professional. The tone should match both your purpose and your audience. So, for example, academic writing requires something formal and objective in tone. Okay, you are in academia now, so you should be writing in an academic way. And also think about style guides. So, most of the people at this institution are going to be using Harvard referencing. So, use what is written in your assignment briefs or assessment briefs. Follow it to the letter because it helps to ensure your consistency in formatting, referencing, and presentation. So, proofreading is quite a difficult task and it requires a focused approach. So, the ways that we can improve the situation, first of all, take breaks. If you are going to be proofreading 12,000 words, you can't do it in one sitting. Make sure you step away, and this clears your mind and helps you to notice errors when you come back with a fresh set of eyes. Like we've mentioned before, consider reading your writing out loud. This helps you to make awkward or missing words easier to spot. Now, another kind of elementary thing you might want to think about is printing it out. Now, errors often jump out at you on paper in a way that they don't when it's on screen. And lastly, consider focusing on specific areas each time you proofread. So maybe consider checking one thing at a time. So the first time, check the punctuation. The second time you look at it, check the spelling. The third time, look at referencing, etc. Okay, so those different ways will help you to have a much more comprehensive proofreading session. So finally, the idea is to bring all of this together. Okay, so edit for content first. So make sure that your ideas are well organized and clear, first of all. So this is more about your ideas, your concepts. Afterwards, you can proofread for errors, be they grammar, punctuation, and spelling. And last of all, consider a final review. Give your draft one last careful read before submitting it. Think of it as the quality check before you share your work with others. So this has been quite a quick look here at editing and proofreading. But if you keep these concepts in mind when you are just about to submit your work, then hopefully you will improve your work and you should achieve a much better grade. Okay? So thank you for listening, everyone. I hope this was useful for you, and I hope to see you again soon. Goodbye.